Championship here from Winton. One of the most famous circuits in Australian motorsport. Fan favourite, driver favourite, especially from our co-commentator Luke Rosella here.
And F for Luke Rosella, who appears to go missing.
Yes, he's still AFK, but yes, it is one of his favourites, that is for sure.
Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Yeah, don't let him tell you otherwise. This is definitely one of his favourites. Server has ticked over. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get in any pre-race build-up here for Winton here. Had to just updating the graphics for the points standings. Just having a look at the live chat, a number of drivers actually just dropped out of the server as it's ticked over to the race session. Looks like there's been a lot of syncing going on. But that has ticked over now. So now we're just going to wait and see who's going to be the first driver out on the circuit. And looks like it's going to be Termo who will be the first man once again out onto the server. So we'll bring up the screen, and there he is, man of the moment. Termo likes to be the first man out on track, and he'll be hoping he's just as fast around the circuit as he is getting out onto it. And certainly a fan favourite, this Winton circuit, with lots of fast flowing corners. And really enjoyable track grip and medium and high speed corners. Very high top speed.
So enjoyable.
That's Termo out to the back end of the circuit. Couldn't give you the corner numbers, and to be frank, I honestly don't care about the corner numbers around this track, because if you couldn't hazard a guess about my opinion of the circuit, just look at the splash screen when it comes back up. But Termo now, he will be, I believe, the first man to set a time. Yeah, look, he's way out ahead of Freakish and Taipan to set a lap. So here we go. Let's buckle on board. DJR Team Penske number 17. And Luke, let's take us for a lap around this magnificent race circuit. Through the first chicane he goes. Luke Rosella clearly in too much ecstasy to go over this magnificent circuit. One of the better corners on the circuit, this right-hand corner. Now through this long double left-hander. Very, very high speed. Lots of grip through there.
Braking as you turn any car in this spot here.
And you've got to get the nose in, which Termo just does do. A bit wide on the exit. Don't lose the rear end here at this left-hander at, I don't know what corner number. We'll just call it at turn 8 dump truck. And now through turn number 9. Using all the road and a little bit of curbing on the exit towards turn 10. I'm going to break about the 150 board here. He's brake just after. And
the curb.
Doesn't use the curb there. Now for the final 2 corners. Really late on the brakes as he get the nose in. No, doesn't quite do it. And now the best corner on the track, final corner. You can carry a bit of speed through there and get on the throttle nice and early. Only corner on this track with a bit of grip. And Termo to the line of 1 minute 24.3. Again, nice solid lap from Termo.
Yeah, you got something wrong there, Lewis. The best corner on the track is the corner coming off the pit lane and into the paddock on the into the exit. I think that's the best corner.
Yeah, so wouldn't really disagree with you there. I think the one where the gate is at the track entry and exit, and you're driving out towards Melbourne, towards the Hume Freeway out there, or the Princess Freeway. So Redmond now up almost by half a second here at the second split over NZ Snipes. Also had Stancliffe, Burko, and Burko jump ahead of Termo. Brunswick there as well, just behind Termo. But Redmond to the line, he should go to the top of the timesheets. Looks like he's going to start this race on a set of soft tyres, 23.3, if you don't mind. Very, very handy lap time. 7/10 clear of the field. NZ Snipes, though, standout performer, and currently sitting in second place.
I'm just looking at the sector splits here. Tim Raymond went purple in the first and second sector. And then I can't pick out who's fastest in the third, though. But for a period of this, Stancliffe was purple in the second sector.
Termo is fastest in the final sector at 24.6. So quite handy for this final couple corners. As we see Darren Kemp now to the line. 24.9, so solid lap from him, much better than his Barbagallo efforts. In fact, I don't think he set a time in qualifying, actually. Barbagallo. It's still solid P9 from him. Important for his team in the standings that he's able to pick up some solid points. So see Lachlan Burke, just trying to think if he's already set a lap time. And Higginson also up in 8th place, so he's able to qualify the car as Higginson, but isn't able to put it together in the races. He'll be hoping to turn that around. Speaking of turning it around, Mishra, he'll be hoping to turn around a poor first 2 sectors, 2.8 seconds off the pace. He'll be looking to find a little bit of time in the final sector. Otherwise, he's going to find himself well down the field after what was a very positive round at Barbagallo. To the line, and he's lost more time in 17th, so he must have made a mistake. Just having a look, and his middle sector wasn't too bad, but looks like the first sector letting him down badly.
Yep, wouldn't be happy about that performance, Mr. Mishra. Ever improving Aljit Mishra. It's found a considerable amount of time this season in various series, but he'll be quite disappointed with that.
And I've got his teammate now, Brap. He's 3 seconds down at the second split here, and to the line. And in fact, he jumps ahead, just ahead of his teammates. So Brap, he wasn't quite there in the middle sector, but his first and last sectors were actually better than Mishra's. So Mishra, not a tidy lap at all. While Brap, if he had been a little bit better in that middle sector, could have found himself well further ahead than where he eventually ended up. Matt Cecil, another one having a poor qualifying session. Qualifying 19th, but there may be 1 or 2 runners though, guys, that may be on the hard tyre in this midfield that we don't know. So perhaps Mishra on the harder tyre, same with Cecil. So it's unusual to see Cecil well down the field. He may be going for the hard, soft option in the race, starting on the hard tyre that he qualified on, and then of course moving on to the soft during the race. But into the warm-up session now. That gives us a little bit of time to just go over the track here at Winton Motor Raceway. About 3 kilometres long, 12 turns. Average speed 136 kilometres. Top speed of 225. Only just kissed that just before you break for turn number 1. And full throttle for about 38% of this track. And remember, from Pleb Airlines, please remember to spam GoHans and hashtag Rhodium in the live chat. Go over to the schedule. So as we can see, Adelaide, Tasmania, those flights have crashed. Phillip Island, that plane's gone missing. Still yet to be found. The Perth plane has crashed. In fact, the plane to Winton has actually been cancelled. The teams have had to actually drive their trucks from Perth all the way to Winton, middle of nowhere, Victoria, almost, or Victoria, New South Wales border, and they've had to do that.
Past through Adelaide.
Yeah, well, maybe even further north than Adelaide. But they've had to do that in the space of 20 minutes, guys. So major scrambles there from the supercar teams. But it's pretty understandable that Pleb Airlines wouldn't want to fly out here to Winton in what is really a goat track.
Yep. Like Hans said, one of my favourite circuits on the supercars calendar. It's quite a setup, quite a setup track. You in order to be pretty competitive around here, you got to have a good setup. Kind of similar to Eastern Creek or Phillip Island. It's just the nature of it, really. A lot of low speed, high speed corners. A lot of mechanical grip. So yeah, if you want to do good around here, you got to have a bit of a hyperdoc, I reckon, Lewis.
Bit of a hyperdoc. I think it's you need a little bit of a hyperdoc, but I think just you need a lot of time to just learn how to drive the circuit in a supercar. It takes quite a number of laps, I reckon, just to get up to speed around here. Other circuits, it doesn't take quite as long, but I found myself when I have raced around here in the past, it takes a lot longer around this track to get up to speed than what it would at other circuits. The braking and learning where you can carry speed and when not to carry as much speed is a bit confusing and takes a bit of time and adjustment around this circuit. So
yeah,
I think a number of the drivers are struggling with that at the moment, and that's why we see some gaps through the field. I think also the hard tyre for a number of these runners is another reason why some drivers are a little bit further down. But have updated the points, and of course Tim Redmond still leads the standings with Lime Mitch in second, Burko there still in third, Daniel Cox also still in fourth, NZ Snipes in fifth, Termo dropping down to sixth, and Matt Cecil that is, followed by Mishra, Taipan and Stancliffe. And across the page, Peter Threll's moved up to 11th, Darren Kemp to 12th, Steve Warwick in 13th, Justin Cecil in 14th, Hans dropped down to 15th after being unable to race the second race from Barbagello. Then we have Lachlan Locke, Rody, Brap, Cheese and Freakish rounding out the top 20. And then in the team standings, ProDrive Racing Australia leading the standings just over Matt White Motorsport. Triple Eight Race Engineering, a couple hundred points behind in second. But after Pierre showing up for Barbagello, he's made it nice and close between Walkinshaw and Triple Eight, and he will help that team with obviously Tim Redmond at the wheel as well move forward in the team standings. Nissan Motorsport on 10.56. Gary Rogers moving ahead of ProDrive Racing Australia Super 2 and Erebus, as well as Lucas Dumbrell, so they've jumped up a few spots, with Lucas Dumbrell moving down to 9th place, with only Rody being the sole runner for them at Barbago, and Brad Jones once again just sticking there in 10th place. Well, gentlemen, it's looking to be a very interesting couple races coming up here, because if you go to the Plev Hub here, we do have some interesting strategies that can play out around this this circuit. The soft tyre, as I did mention in qualifying, you can't quite make it to the half-point distance. At least in the running that I was able to do, could only get them to about lap 5, maybe 6, and of course you do have a formation lap to take into consideration as well. So drivers that do start on the soft, expect them to pit early, and then they're going to be quite slow in the back half of the race, where we might see a number of the guys who are starting on the hards go a little bit, do the reverse and be quite quick at the back end of the race. So it should make for an interesting race coming up.
Yeah, it should do. It would be advisable for drivers to start on a hard tyre. That way they're not chewing up their tyres in these early stages of the races where they're battling for position and just using up the tyre for no reason, really taking the life out of a soft tyre that you really need to make your inroads at this sort of track, where you really do need to get your corner exits right and also your corner entries. That way you're not losing speeds where you might not lose speeds at compared to other tracks.
Yeah, and if you're deep in the pack, during the early parts of the race, if you're on the soft tyres, you can, of course they don't make it as long as the hard tyres. You can pit early and maybe undercut a lot of drivers. So that's something to consider in these couple of races tonight.
And it's not an awful long pit stop too, so we might be able to see the drivers definitely make use of that undercut and really speed away and make up that inroads by pitting that lap earlier, where drivers are using up their tyres on a worn tyre for that extra lap and going about a second, 2 seconds slower on a lap before.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting couple races here, strategy-wise, and I reckon we'll see a number of the drivers probably alternate what they do strategy-wise here. They may start this race here in race number 1 on the soft tyre and come in early and go hards and realise it's not the way to go, and it might be the other way around for guys that's starting on the harder tyre here, where, you know, if those guys in the midfield, if there's someone there that's, you know, perhaps qualified in the top 10 on the hard tyre, if they can just stick around with those guys, you know, at the first half of the race, they'll put themselves in really good standing in the back half where they've got the better tyre, and we see a number of the front runners that will have to put the hard tyre on just to make it to the end. So the first half of the race for a lot of these drivers is going to dictate where they end up. So the first 6 laps could decide where a driver finishes.
Yep, indeed, and you know, although you got the better tyre at the end of the race, you got to be careful because it's quite easy to, you know, light up the rears here, and yeah, easily chew up those rear tyres. So yeah, you can push, but you just got to be a bit careful in order to fully maximise the advantage you have.
Certainly. But here we go. Has ticked over to the race session. Didn't think for a moment we may have the warm-up restarted, but that is not the case.
Bit tired there, Lewis.
Yeah, just a little bit. Looking at this track just makes me tired.
Yeah. Especially at sector 2. Look, it makes me a bit tired as well.
It certainly does. I've only got 23 here in this one. So just waiting now for drivers to get back on to the grid. I think everybody is in the server. I don't think we're missing anyone, so we are a couple cars down here with this one, even though we do have Hans back for this round.
Oh, and Burko's doing some doughy, so we might be going to a restart here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it has been restarted. So that's disappointing that this has been restarted and the last one at Barbagallo wasn't, but just a thing to do with timing here. So to apologise. Looks like there's a mix-up with the grid here. A number of drivers weren't quite in the right position. So with that, I'm going to go and grab myself a drink while these two plebs here can keep everyone entertained.
Yeah.
How do we keep everyone entertained at this wonderful track here, Luke?
I think keep saying how bad of a circuit it is, I reckon.
How bad of a circuit? Oh, actually, I must say it's probably not the worst track I've seen. But it's not.
What is the worst track you've seen? What is the worst track you've seen, Brendan?
Winton. I tried to give it some name there, but it really isn't a good track.
No.
I do remember, similar to Lewis, I do remember the first time I raced at it back in 2018 when we first come here for the V8s, and I only did it with 5 minutes of practice. It's not a track you can do 5 minutes of practice on. It takes a good 2-3 hours to just learn Sector 1 and how to go fast through that sector.
Yeah, I was lucky. Well, I'm lucky not to have run a official league race around here. I was close over at ASC before COVID hit, and because of course they were trying to mirror as much as they could of the real supercars calendar, and of course, as you know, Winton was never included in that new calendar they made. So yeah, we ended up not going there instead, so which is good. But I have raced here on AMS a few times. First, of course, in real life watching supercars, but first saw it in the sim on R Factor and immediately hated it. Thought it was a absolute go-kart track. But yeah, definitely, my opinion, the worst supercars track on the calendar. And but I think the worst track I've seen in any track, probably outside Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. Yeah,
Given
not
that,
very good.
given that, I don't think the outer loop that the F1s raced on the other week, that was not a bad track.
Not too bad, yeah. I'd say both the supercar layout and the outer loop, they skipped the worst part of the circuit, I think.
And they provide a better racing.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Now I hope Lewis is back, because we have just gone to the race session here.
He might have spilled his drink and dropped the glass on the floor or picking it up. I don't know what it takes. Yeah, it doesn't take long to get a drink, but
he did advise me that he was doing a certain number, but I don't need to label that number here.
Anyway, well, you went through the grid and race 2 at Barbagallo, so I'll go through the grid here, race 1 in Winton. It's Tim Redmond with a commanding performance in qualifying. He gets the pole, P1, and then he's followed by Anthony Snipes in P number 2 in the Nissan. Scott Stancliffe finally gets to actually set a qualifying lap. He'll be starting in P3. Good job by him. Steve Burko, another solid, consistent performance in qualifying in the Pro Guys Racing Australia Falcon. Turmo, P5. And behind him, it's P6 for Hans Brunswick. Said he's had not a lot of practice around here, but still a solid performance. Lime Mitch, a bit slower this time around in P7 than Barbagallo. He's followed by Nathan Higginson in P8. Darren Kemp, good job by him in P9. Peter Thrower rounds out the top 10 in the Triple Eight Race Engineering Holden. Pro Drive Racing Australia, Bottle Racing, Daniel Cox in P11. And Canadian Pierre Roy in P12. Behind him it's Taipan in P13. Freakish P14. Steve Warwick, a bit disappointed with P15. Behind him, Lachlan Burke, again a bit far away from his qualifying performance. Barbagallo, who'll be starting in P16. Brap just in front of his teammate in P17. Audrey Mishra, I think he's on the hard tyres. He'll be starting in P18. Matt Cecil P19. Rody in the lift on my screen. I think it's
it is the
livery.
lift.
It is the lift, yes.
Yes.
He'll be starting in P20. Brian Walsh P21. And Dimitri in P22. And then rounding out the grid. P23, Mike Colston in the Kelly Senglet Racing.
The camel man himself.
Yes. Lewis is still not here. I think he's dropped a considerably large amount of liquid on the floor. So looks like it's going to be me and you for a little while longer, Rossi. But anyway, they're lining up here at Winton. Just waiting on for the last few runners.
Like Mitch seems to be having trouble finding his spot. He's going back and forth.
Yeah, might be a radio malfunction with the spotter there. I think it looks like Brian Walsh is a bit too far away from his. Oh, no. Alright, there we go. Waiting for the lights. Lewis is back.
Oh, perfect timing.
Lights out, and where we go here.
Lights gone absolutely nowhere.
Ah!
From front row to, well, the middle of the pack, that's not ideal. But Tim Redmond, free kick into the lead. Although, since Snipes is still first for some reason, so it's a bit of a timing glitch there. Got a couple cars off at the first chicane. Outside of that, though, looking like it's all okay. But Takimi 1 and 2, when the timing updates itself, if it updates itself. And then we have Steve Burko in 4th place. Lime Mitch has got Hans Brunswick for company. Lime Mitch a good start, up 2 spots. And then we have Turmo in 7th place.
If I'm right, NZ Snipes should be all the way down to 15th. So from front row to virtually 15th, 16th, he's had a shocker of a start.
Yep, Tim Redmond getting the start he needed. We know he's got the pace around here, so it's head down and just create as much of a gap as possible to Scott Stancliffe. But Scott Stancliffe, he does have pace around here as well, so we'll wait and see.
Maybe a little bit of a timing glitch here. As somehow AMSOZ Snipes maybe has an additional lap. So I'm just going to scroll through and see how many laps he has next to his name. If it comes up, yeah, it says he's on lap 2 of 13. So if Heather's watching along with the live chat, if he could please remove a lap of his, it should fix the live timing.
There you go.
May be able to fix this.
Corrected itself.
There we go.
Itself as he went across the start-finish line. So Redmond leads by 1 second. Then we've got Stancliffe and Burko duking it out for second place. We've also seen Hans get by the line. Mitch.
Oh, Higginson side of Turnway there. Bit of a late dive to P5.
I wonder, guys, if my Mitch is on the hard tyre here. He's not travelling at the speeds we're normally accustomed to seeing. He's not particularly slow around this circuit compared to the front runner, so I reckon he may be on the hard soft option. So this first stint of his is mighty important. He's got to stay within striking distance and then strike at the end.
Yeah, his qualifying lap was considerably slower, so yeah, Lewis, he is indeed on the hard tyres and he's got to make the most of it.
And now we've got Higo trying to make the most of it up into turn number 10. Up the inside, Turbo right outside ways on the exit. He's far enough alongside here, so Turbo looking to hold on.
Oh, Mish has gone off at turn 10.
Contact!
Oh, they've collided!
But I think it was minor contact. They both, I think, would have run wide anyway, and then we've got Freakage there.
Look at that, freakage! Taking them both in the last quarter.
So I think his car should be updated on my screen there, but it wasn't impact. Anyway. Kemp, solid start to his weekend, but that's off. Certainly hampered. Turmo and Higginson both down a number of spots now. And Peter Thrower has got Taipan for company, and we've still got a little bit of a timing glitch here for AMSOZ Snipes here. So there's also Mishra's had a bit of a nightmare down the back there.
Bit of a transponder gremlin for AMSOZ Snipes, I reckon, in that car.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a lap now added to his timing. Because it says he's in 22nd, but he's actually right behind the back of Taipan, who is in 12th place.
What happened to Aldrich Mishra? He's already in the pits.
He's already in the pits now. He did go off the circuit. We've also got Matt Cecil off. Now, he does have storms in his areas, and in fact, we've got AMSOZ Snipes is just disconnected.
Oh, Stancliffe real wide into the second last quarter, and Burko. Is that a freebie? I think it is. But Stancliffe not giving up.
Hans Brunswick right there to pounce if these two collide as well. Burko doing a PB at 25.6, not ideal.
Oh, it's going to be awkward.
Oh, a bit of contact, and
very awkward.
just needed another car there, and they could have the redress has caused that, but Burko holding on to second. This is perfect for Tim Redmond, who's able to
what
in
happened
the
there?
lead, and I think there may have been a little bit of a freeze there for Burko. Perhaps a game freeze? Was it contact?
Yeah, I reckon it looked like a game freeze because he just basically teleported just behind Scott Stancliffe there. So real weird, but he's going to make the move on Hans.
Yeah, his car just stopped there. I'd say that was some kind of game issue or internet issue. But again, free kick for Redmond. He's now 5.5 seconds clear, and it's smooth sailing. But battle for second place continues. Line isn't too far away, but he's got Daniel Cox, so it's put him under a bit of pressure.
If I was these guys, I would stop battling. You know that Scott Stancliffe's got the pace around here. Just stay behind him because they're losing too much time to Tim Redmond. He's opened the gap to 5.6 seconds. So the guys just need to calm down and just hold station, I reckon.
Yeah, gotta be like the peloton.
Yep.
No, Dimmy, another driver. Gotta be like the peloton in cycling where they work together, or just a group. They got to work as a group to get further towards the front here. If they just keep battling, it's just going to give the guy out in front.
Oh,
and Hans is around, and he kept his foot in it, and it was in the end it was a smart thing because he ran into the side of Burko and straightened his car out. So we'll
Oh my god.
cut back and right on board Mr. Brunswick here, and we'll see how this adventure played out from the room. So, yeah, it's a little bit too much curve usage. His rears are a little bit gone at this stage. A little bit of reduction from Burko, straight to mount, thank you very much. And, well, I didn't lose too much time, but I did use a lot of my rear tyre. And what has happened to Burko?
Ran off at the turns between 5 and 6 and just ran wide and dropped behind that little battle pack.
Oh, he's carried too much speed at that left-hander and just gone. It's very, very easy to do. And that's allowed Coxie up a spot as well as Lion Mitch. And Hans has taken that position back. Hans, looks like his pit crew, Lucas Dumbrell, are getting ready in the pit lane. And if he pits this early, he has to put hard tyres in.
Too early. It's too early for softs.
Ooh, and we've got Coxie making a move on Lion Mitch.
And Peter throwing freaks off.
So that's Darren Kemp making a move on Turbo. He's going to outbreak himself there for a moment. Taipan. We've got Thrower and Pierre Roy now side by side. Thrower giving too much respect to Pierre Roy and eventually going off the road, and now he's got a lap Mishra behind him. Higginson there in 12th place. He's had a bit of a nightmare. Freakish was up a little bit higher as well earlier on, but he's dropped down, and Brap just in front of Lachlan Burke there, Team 18 car. Re-retirements, Dimmy is retired, Snipes and Cecil. Redmond in the lead, looks like Walkinshaw are getting ready. He's 7.1 seconds clear of Stancliffe now. Hans up into 3rd place. Cox in 4th, not too far away. He's having a good solid run. And then Mitch Squirmy coming out of that corner. And he's got Burko right on his bumper now as Wash gets out of the way. And got Steve Warwick, and I think that's Brody battling as well, just ahead of Darren Kemp and Turbo. As we see our race leader now into the pits. Looks like everybody outside of Lion Mitch diving into the pits.
Yep. You gotta be careful in this pit entry. It's a bit like the Shiner pit entry where it's actually got a corner before the pit line, so you gotta still be committed racing speed on that corner, so it's quite easy to make a mistake.
So Lion Mitch now in the lead. Most of his laps 26, his last lap at 28.4, so not ideal. Now from here, you could maybe try and risk the soft tyre, but this Walsh does a comical effort in trying to let guys go and just runs into the wall there. Rear tyre, or either your front left or your rear left, probably going to be gone on the final lap if you do put softs on. So it's going to be touch and go. Lion Mitch though, he could probably pit it. Oh, there's Coxie. He's got himself a drive-through, speeding in the pits. We're just talking about it. And we'll cut to it on the replay here. So
see, Burko's out of the race.
I see Burko. He's unpressed the pit lane speed limit button and ran into the back of Coxie in the pits.
Oh no!
So, disaster.
Oh, Tim Remer's got traffic here, guys.
He certainly does, but he's
So,
2 in 1 though.
Well, yeah. Can you call it traffic then now?
Well, he's now in clear air. So, he's got Walsh in front of him, but Walsh will probably get out of the way pretty quick. Pierre Roy now entering the pits, Taipan entering the pits, as is Turmo and Kemp. Lion Mitch still going though.
He's stayed out.
He goes spotted the pit entry.
Oh no. He's got he's got punctures, he's not going anywhere. He's gone a lap too long on the soft tyre, and well, disaster for Higginson. Seems to be able to qualify the car fairly well, and then in the races he just can't put it together. Just seeing in the chat, NZ Snipe saying his net quote unquote shat itself. No, that's not ideal. It's Be very interesting to see where Lime Mitch pans out. He is going to lose a bit of time to Redmond here.
I would pit now. I would pit now for, and oh yeah, he's got the little spanner on, so he is indeed pitting.
He's losing time. I think he's gone a lap too long here. So he will be able to drive pretty quickly as Mike Coulson gives himself a drive through. I'm guessing again for speeding in the pit lane. So Super 2 pit stops are new to these guys. Well, to some of them anyway. A lot of these guys do race in other series which do have pit stops, but they don't seem to know how to enter the pits.
Lime Mitch may be very close to a pit lane penalty there. He put his pit limiter right on the line there, so he may fall on the wrong side of the drive-through penalty here if he's not slow enough.
It does give you a bit of leadway. The pit speed. I think it's about 3 or 4 k's of leadway. So I think he should be fine here. Wait and see.
Just got going and no penalty.
Yep.
So
nice.
He'll be on the soft tyre now. He's coming out ahead of Turmo, but he's actually quite a fair ways behind Hans.
Yeah.
Stancliffe and Redmond. So I don't think it's worked out. He's got a lap too long, and the other guys are able to eke out just an extra lap on the soft tyre, but they are probably going to struggle on the last lap. But yeah, Lime Mitch just leaving it a little bit too long. And up front, it's fairly stable with some fairly big gaps outside of Burke and Brunswick. Burke, though, yet to pit. He'll be trying a no stop here. He's able to pull it off, though. He's got some fair gaps behind him. Lime Mitch is 6 seconds back, but then you've got Turmo at 14 seconds behind him as Hans runs wide. So if he's able to save enough fuel and his tyres can last, may be able to pull off a no stopper here and actually finish in the top 5 here.
And to give him a great starting position for the second race.
Actually, he's pit crew getting ready, so there goes
everything we said.
Yeah, there goes that one. And I'm just seeing in the chat that Burko won't make the next race, so that's a shame.
F.
Looks like some personal issues or something coming about, and he's unable to make it. As we see Lachlan Burke now into the pits, and that will elevate Turmo, Taipan, Aaron Kemp, possibly even freakish Peter Thrower, Roy.
Well, Lime Mitch is closing in on Hans Brunswick here, making the most of those soft tyres, but like I said before the race, you can't push too hard or else that tyre overlap will start to come into play, and you know, the guy in front of you is on hards, probably have the better tyres.
Well, I think a lot of these guys actually whack softs back on. We did see Redmond set the fastest lap of the race on his first full-time lap, so safe to say he's on softs.
And he is matching times that he did at the start of the race too, so yeah, more than likely he's back on softs.
Somehow able to make them last. I guess running traction control and all that stuff does help the driver aids, or the driver aids do help the tyre wear here. And so got Rhodey here just in front of his teammate, and be hoping to get out of the way fairly quickly, otherwise they'll get sacked by Barry Ryan. And Lime Mitch having a look at Hans.
Deep on the brakes.
Corner, made up a fair amount of ground. And he's right behind the Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport, number 62.
Gonna have a look.
24-2 for Lime Mitch on that last lap. If he gets by Hans here, he may give himself an opportunity to close down Stancliffe. Oh, and bit of biff there. Hans having none of it. He's like, no, I'm turning in. I don't care that you're there. And Lime Mitch is wide, and well, we will see him fight back there, but that probably
he's going to be patient. You know, he's on the better tyres. He's much faster. He's just going to be patient, and if he's being too aggressive and stuff like that happens.
Yeah, just got to wait for that better opportunity, which he wasn't willing to do. A little bit further back though, do have Freakish and Peter Thrower fairly close together. Pierre Roy having a solid run in 10th. He's got a recovering Daniel Cox behind him. after his unfortunate drive there. If he didn't have that, he'd find himself in the top 5.
Lymitch is going for another look at Hans Brunswick.
And
There you go.
Brunswick doing a bit of
Side by
space.
side.
Not gonna give up.
He'll have a dip here.
No.
He knows, I think he knows he doesn't quite have the grip, so he's just gonna just let him go. Big slide there from Hans. It's 6 seconds now between Lymitch and Stancliffe. Actually, make that 9 seconds. So he's got a bit of work to do to catch the back. Because Stancliffe, in fact, there's a lot of traffic for these guys to navigate. We do have 19 cars still left in the race. Quite a bit of pace difference between a number of these drives around this track, which is quite tricky, as we touched upon just before the race, and it's proving to be very tricky.
Oh, Mitch is off the road.
Yeah, just
On the grass.
oh, he's lucky to keep it going there, but yeah, just overdriving the car a bit. He made up time on Stancliffe. That's yeah, not ideal for Lymitch. I think this is the best he's going to get here, 3rd place. Keeps driving like that though, find himself off the podium. Just a bit twitchy, just over driving, which is very easy to do with these tyres, because they do get worn out very, very quickly when they are 4 times tyre wear.
There is a battle brewing in 10th and 11th for what could virtually be the pole position for the second race tonight between Daniel Cox and Pierre Roy.
Well, I think, was it Roy that did just hold that, and Cox has just got it, I believe. So at least that'll be some small consolation for Daniel Cox if he's able to hold on to 10th place, and he'll at least start from pole position for race 2 after being bumped in the pits and picking up an unfortunate drive through no fault of his own. Been there myself. I've been in his shoes and been unfortunately whacked in the pits and been given a penalty. Certainly
Of
not
anything
fun.
recent?
Yeah, it was fairly recently at the Gold Coast
right.
round.
Who was? Do you know who the other driver was?
I believe it was Brent Foley in that one. Very characteristic mistake from the dirty Brent Foley. Does love a punch and run, and did it once again.
No comment?
No comment?
Clear team orders to help Brendan Ross out in that.
Yeah.
As you see, Lymitch
No
getting
comment.
right out sideways, but Tim Redmond, well, he's been untouched in this one, and clear, 11.5 seconds clear. Able to somehow make the soft tyres last in the first stint, and he's able to run them again in the second. While we have Scott Stancliffe able to recover after recovery round at Barbagallo with his 2 penalties, but a solid second place here at Winton, and Lymitch recovering in the end to 3rd. Just too much for him to do at the back end of that race, and I think he lost time in the pit stops as well, guys, because he was a little bit closer to Redmond than what he was before the pit stops. Turmo coming home in 5th behind Hans. Taipan home in 6th in one of his best finishes since Adelaide. Darren Kemp home in 7th, one of his best races of the season. Solid race from him. Peter Thrower home in 8th, so nice recovery after a poor qualifying. And then we have Freakish home in 9th place. Daniel Cox home in 10th, followed by Pierre Roy in 11th. Lachlan Burke will come home in 12th place for team 18. Higginson home in 13th. That's pretty much where that car finished in real life in 2017.
Well, that's a bit high for it.
Yeah, it is a bit high actually. And Rapp will come home in 14th place, but I guess that's what happens when you do lose the best engineer in the business. And then Mike Coulson home in 15th. Steve Warwick in 16th. Mishra having a nightmare round in this one. He dropped to the back of the field early on the race. We didn't see what happened, but that summed up his race. But still picking up points in 17th. Rody home in 18th, followed by Ryan Walsh, the last of the finishers, in 19th with Burko, Dimitri, NZ Snipes and Cecil all non-finishes in that one. So, rather tame race number 1 from Winton, but I think we may see things just change up just a little bit here for race 2 with, I'm sure Lion Mitch will probably change up his strategy after, the alternate strategy that he ran didn't quite work out this time.
Yeah, and he is starting ahead of, only slightly ahead of his championship companions in Tim Redmond and Scott Stancliffe, but there's not a lot he can do different as they are limited with the tyre wear and the race positions as they'll be in the middle of the pack too. So we might see someone like Daniel Cox and Freakish do something a lot different to really give themselves a shot, maybe at a third or a second here.
Yeah, I felt like he maybe was out there a lap too much for those hard tyres. He just lost too much time to the rest of the drivers on those soft tyres. But you say that, he was quite close to Scott Stancliffe in the end there, and he made that mistake in the second sector. So you could say if he didn't make that mistake, he would have been, right up there with Scott Stancliffe, even ahead of him. So, it wasn't all that bad in terms of strategy for Lion Mitch there.
Yeah, he was able to eke out some 24s at the back end of that race, but the battling with Hans did cost him time, but just wasn't quite quick enough on the harder tyre, and that extra lap, I think, just cost him a little bit of time in that pit stop sequence. So he may try the same strategy again, starting on the hard and then moving to the soft, but perhaps just come in a lap earlier, or maybe even risk taking 2 laps earlier, and at least giving himself more time to make up time, or pull away, because he will be ahead, of course, of the championship leader, Tim Redmond. Just having a look at the moment of at the drivers' standings being updated live here. So, of course, Tim Redmond still leading the standings. We have Lion Mitch at 250 points away, so that's a round just about behind. And then Lion Mitch is about 112 or 114 points ahead of Daniel Cox. Burko, with that retirement, dropping him down to 4th place in the standings. And a big opportunity for Termo here to jump ahead of Burko. Snipes will be kicking himself that the internet shut himself there, because he would have been able to maybe even sneak ahead and into 3rd place in the standings if he was able to pull home a solid result there. But he's resigned now to 6th place, about 60 points ahead of Stancliffe, who now moves up into 7th. Taipan in 8th place in the standings after that one. Mishra in 9th place on 714. Matt Cecil on 699 still after a non-finish there. And then we have Darren Kemp 672. Peter Thrower 669. Hans Brunswick 546. Steve Warwick 516. Brap and Justin Cecil equal on 459, although I think that's... No, it looks like it's been updated. And then Rhodey on 456. Lachlan Lock on 426. And he rounds out the top 20. Alright, so now just between sessions at the moment. So now it's my turn to fill out a bit of time, as it looks like my 2 co-commentators are just a little bit preoccupied with some other things.
Amazement of this circuit.
The amazement of this circuit, yeah, they're just mesmerised at just how good this design is, and what a great location as well.
Yes!
You've got the farms to one side, you've got the freeway not too far away as well, and you've got some trees as well. It's a magnificent and beautiful location.
Yes, I have driven past Winton one time when I was driving to Phillip Island for the Grand Prix back in 2018. So I've been in the vicinity of the area. Lucky not in the circuit. as I probably would have fainted in how bad the layout was. But yeah, that's my experience of Winton. How about you guys' experience of Winton, if any?
This is the closest for me.
I have driven past it on a number of occasions to much better places.
Yes.
When I went on a holiday to the Blue Mountains, that was nice. Drove past this magnificent garbage dump, and also when I saw a friend of mine a couple of times who lives in Canberra. So yeah, they're the times that I've been near this circuit, and hopefully at some point I never get to go anywhere near this circuit. Unless somehow that Rick Kelly and the Kelly team hired me for V8 Supercars in 2021. But
As a paid driver.
as the not a paid driver, because that's clearly Andre Gardner in the team, but as the number one driver, the lead driver.
The number 1 Castrol-backed number 15 Ford Mustang driver of Lewis Weddle.
Yes.
I will back that. Make it happen, Todd.
So I am available. You don't have to pay me all that much.
What about a co-driver? If you got a co-driver lined up?
I don't have a co-driver lined up, but there are some, there's a couple of drivers out there. Not live.
There's Dave Reynolds out there.
No, he can get stuff. He'll just go and have a sook and, break out of a 10-year contract. But there is a driver that's he's won a Super 2, he was very close to winning a Super 2 championship. But he's a Bathurst 500 winner, fantastic qualifier. Somehow didn't get to drive in the top 10 shootout for the AMSOZ Bathurst 500. So like Mitch, he'd certainly be up there.
Yeah, right.
Great
Is that
co-driver.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Isn't there another Bathurst 500 winner in this commentary box?
Nope.
Nope. Right. Okay.
Certainly not the
Be
best.
nice.
Certainly not the best qualifier. Like Mitch clearly has that moniker.
Didn't the other driver put it on provisional pole in the qualifying session?
He did, but then he blew it in the top 10 shootout. So
Oh, that's not good.
So he choked.
yeah, he did a Greg Norman and blew it.
Yeah, I've heard this other driver's also a Porsche factory driver for AMSOZ. Is that true?
A Porsche factory driver. That's a new one. That's a new one, considering that there are no Porsches in AMSOZ.
Ah.
There's boxes, but they're not Porsches. Different colour.
Are you talking about the guy that won the Porsche Boxer Cup Championship?
Oh, Hobbo. Yeah, he won that.
Yeah, Hobbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about.
He's a little bit before your time, but Hobbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hobbo
You might
88.
know him.
He's a great guy, and does some great live streaming. Fairly famous on the old Twitch. Been in a couple E-series as well, El Hobbo.
Yep. Oh, hang on, I got it. This guy we're talking about, didn't he qualify for a Scops race at Spa?
Scott Nolan.
No, not Scott Nolan. I recall he qualified for a Scops this year at Spa.
I know Hobbo's qualified for Scops this year. As we see Higo get on 2 wheels and having a boot them.
Yeah.
There are 40 drivers at the time that do qualify for Scops, so we're going to have to narrow it down.
Was it that guy
finished...
that was parked sideways on the road before the bus stop chicane? Was it that guy?
No, that was
And half the field ran into him.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't that guy.
Ah, right. Couldn't
I think he
that
finished
guy...
outside the top 20.
Surely couldn't have been that guy with the crappy BMW livery knockoff. He was
Hang
terrible.
on. I think that's the guy we're talking about.
Team
yeah, like a
Team Shitzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was black. I think it had some weird sponsor on it, like Australian Crash Repairs, I think. Some weird sponsor on it, yeah.
Oh, he's just a has-been. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd consider him as a co-driver, being fair. I mean, I don't think he's got the pedigree. You know, he's not like won any significant races at all. I don't think he's got the legs or the strength or fitness underneath him to be able to complete a long distance race around you know, tracks like Bathurst. So
yeah, right.
Do you think he just has to get carried by somebody in a llama mobile?
Yeah.
But anyway, the race is about to start.
Yeah, the race is about to start here. We've fluffed our way through the warm-up, and still haven't found a co-driver here for the number 15 Castrol Mustang alongside himself. Certainly not having Todd or Rick in the car, that's for sure. They can get stuffed. And Gary Jacobson, he'd probably start tearing up on me, so probably don't want him. Because he'd just fog up his visor and probably fence it. But,
what about a fan favourite of one of our long-time serving members of Brian Walsh? It is a female and her name ends in Gracie.
There's another word for that, and I think it's that thing
Goes
behind
it.
Yeah, I think it's that thing behind Compo in the pleb hub. But
yeah, it's something we can't name on the broadcast.
We can't name it on the broadcast. It'd be a bit inappropriate. But nah, after her last effort of fencing it at Forest Hill, I don't want anything to do with it. Anyway, here we are, formation lap for race number 2, the final race of the night. Here from Winton, and well, these two, they've done enough running through the grid, so I'll do it myself. Once again, carrying the team. Yep. By Mitch in the Bathurst 500. Anyway, Daniel Cox will start from pole position here in this one after recovering back to 10th place. Got Freakish starting in the colour mobile on the front row alongside him. Peter Thrower will start from 3rd place. And we have Darren Kemp in the Matt White Motorsport number 26 car. Now, fun fact, this car actually raced as a wild card at this round in 2017. So that's a little bit of a tidbit for you. Shay Davies did race at Winton in 2017 in supercars as a wild card entry. So hopefully he can put in a solid effort in this one. The type band starting from P5. Turmo will start from P6. The DJR team Penske. Hans Brunswick will start in P number 6 for Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport. They've been reverse top 10, but that's still significantly higher than that car has ever been in real life. Lion Mitch there in 8th place. He's a real go-getter starting from 8th place. Then we have Scott Stancliffe. He'll start from 9th ahead of fellow Kiwi and championship leader Tim Redmond in 10th, who's just ahead of his teammate in the sister Walkinshaw, albeit a little bit more orange with some boost on the sides. Pierre Roy Lockwood-Burke will start from 12th place, with Nathan Higginson looking to sort out his race woes and move ahead in this one. He'll start 13th. Rapp will start 14th, just ahead of Mike Coulston, or Kelly Racing, the number 15 car that I'll be piloting. Well, I won't be piloting, but it will be the same number. And then we have Steve Warwick there. He'll start 16th. Another home track. Kelly Racing, of course, this is their home track, same as Brad Jones Racing Mishra in 17th, followed by Brody, who will start in 18th place. Ryan Walsh will start in 19th. NZ Snipes, he'll have to work his way through the field in this one, so he'll be one to watch. He'll start 20th. Matt Cecil, another one, and another alternate livery in the Super Cheap car. He'll start 21st, and he'll be another one to watch, hopefully, with Justin Cecil rounding out the field for 22 starters. Alright lads, not far away from the start, and I'm sure there's someone out there that, yeah, there was, once again, Brian Walsh hadn't made his grid slide. He's going to have to get in that position. Anyway, lights are on. Away we go. and looks like Lion Mitch is trying to split the middle of the pack, and we've got Hans looking to make a move as well. Coxie's lost out a little bit. Oh, he's been spun by Taipan. There's a number of Taipan looks like he's going to immediately redress that. It's freakish. He's been given a freakish free kick. Lion Mitch is into second already after all that. So Matt Light Motorsport, ideal start, and a little bit of contact between Thrower and Redmond. Thrower down a spot, Redmond up 5.
Wow, what a start. Daniel Cox, shocking start, and it's allowed Freakish to get an absolute blinder. But it's all on behind him. Lion Mitch has got a bit of a gap to Darren Kemp, and Redmond, he's looking to get around him.
So Darren Kemp is another one of the drivers that's very, very difficult to pass here. So look for Hans to try and get the move on Redmond and take him by surprise. Never got 2 AAA cars battling here. Got Thrower and Stancliffe. I wonder if there'll be a little bit of team orders here. And it may have been, as Stancliffe gets by fairly easily. Kemp still ahead of Redmond here, and going a little bit defensive here. Redmond looking to make a late move, and he's made it awkward. He's made contact, and well, that's looks like he's going to redress that. But that's a race win, pretty much done. At the back end of that lap, we've also had Lion Mitch into the lead.
Yeah, very silly move for Tim Redmond there, and it's going to cost him. He's going to have to redress the position. But, oh no, oh what? He's just gone straight past Darren Kemp on the straight there. That's not how you do a regress.
Just have a little bit of a look at that.
I do believe I was caught up in a similar incident where someone regressed me and he passed me straight after.
Kemp wasn't too pleased with that because he then swerved back and raised the back of Redmond's car, so Kemp clearly not happy with that one at all. And we have seen there's a precedent with that, so that may be a penalty for a championship leader. So disaster for a championship leader here. And Stancliffe, he's got himself ahead of Turbo, and I've got Higginson. He's on the move here. I reckon he started on the soft tyres.
Yeah, well, given that he's up 6 positions and pretty much in the middle of traffic, you'd have to assume that he's on the softer tyres, making up these positions early while he can.
The first flying lap here will be interesting to see what Lion Mitch can do. Anything a 25 and under is soft tyre. And yeah, that 24.0 is about one of the quickest race times of the night. So clearly he's gone for broke. He's whacked the soft tyres on. Paid off for him at the start, as you see Freakish overtaken by Brunswick. Freakish not the fastest driver out there, guys, but he's done all he's had to do. He got away solidly, avoided the carnage behind him, and he's built up a nice solid lead over runners that he'd normally find himself racing against.
Yeah, like you said, kept himself clean, in the perfect position out in front, avoiding all the cars while they're squabbling for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and just building a good 3-second buffer. Sadly for himself, he's dropped back to 3rd, but he might learn a thing or two following Hans here, and hopefully he can stay around for a couple of laps. He might bag himself a podium if he can keep it clean for the rest of the race.
Doesn't look like Stancliffe's making too many inroads on him here. Stancliffe may be a driver that is on the hard tyre. He's got Turbo for company here, but we'll just see how Stancliffe goes here. He's particularly slow in race number 1. Finishing on the podium, but 2nd place. But he's not really matching Lion Mitch time for time, so that makes me think that it is on the hard tyre. But we have to see what lap time he's able to do, as he's very wide at the penultimate corner there. Further encouragement for Turbo. They are slowly catching the back of Freakish here, but to the line, 25.5. So it's either a fairly handy time on the hard tyre, or he's just too quick at the moment on the soft. Perhaps just managing the tyre. So,
yeah, probably managing the tyre of the two, because he does have a little bit of pace down in that number 8 Commodore there. So maybe he's looking to just extend the stint that extra lap, so he has fresher tyres for the end.
So Higginson continuing to battle with Peter Thrower. good after the first lap. Well, almost about halfway through the first lap. For Matt White Motorsport, but with Ken Big sent to the back after the contact with Tim Redmond. Yeah, looking fairly good for Triple Eight Race Engineering here as he's very close to the back of Thrower. Close enough to have a dive here into turn 10. He'll throw and spark his car in the middle, making it very awkward for Higginson. But Higginson, again, just can't quite get the run out of turn 10. Further back though, bit of a pack now behind Steve Warwick. Got a recovering NZ Snipes.
Oh, it's stuff's real deep.
And a little bit of contact between Burke and Warwick, but nothing untoward. Snipes is going to try and follow Burke through. Warwick's going to hold on around the outside, and he'll have the inside for turn 1. And now it's Burke's turn to be a little bit uncomfortable here. There's Snipes is deep on the brakes, and I think made a bit of contact with Burke into turn 1 there. But Pierre,
I think something's happened in front of him. I think Higginson had to redress.
Oh, no, the
it's cut.
And we'll just cut to a replay to find out what happened. So yeah, into the first chicane. Yeah, Higginson's going to go to the outside. Throwers hit the brakes and sent him off to. Oh, and he's put him into the fence as well. That'll be severe damage for Peter Thrower. And I'd say he's got a puncture, possible suspension damage as well, because he can't get his car going. He's definitely got a puncture in that thing. So it wasn't good for Triple Eight Race Engineering, but that's been ruined by their satellite car, and that'll probably be a hefty penalty for Nathan Higginson, because that move was poorly executed.
You really just seem to look at his braking marker there, and you just clearly obviously ran into the back of him with a full head of steam.
It's further ahead though. Stancliffe certainly just ahead of Turmo as Freakish runs a little bit wide there, so he has gobbled up Freakish. He's not really driven too far away from Turmo. And again, what lap time is that? That is a, well, it doesn't give us a lap time, so he picked up a track cut there.
He's having a really good run in Winton this round. So it's actually last race he set at 24.3, which is only a 10 slower than likes of Redmond and Midline Mitch. So he's actually got some good pace here, Turbo, and he's doing a real good job here. Just behind Freakish, looking to make a move.
Forced Freakish into a slight error there, but couldn't quite capitalise. He had decent pace at Barbagallo, so he's been a little bit unlucky tonight, and Barbagallo could have had some better results. And again, he's shown some good pace here at Winton. Hopefully, though, he'll be able to capitalise. He's about to enter the pits. Looks like his pit crew getting ready. And like Mitch, his pit crew also getting ready. So they're getting to lap 6, or the end of lap 6 when they pit. And that'll
so
give
Stancliffe on the softs. I mean on the hards. Sorry.
Yeah, Stancliffe, yeah, his pit crew not getting ready. So he's going to try the Line Mitch strategy. He's a lot closer than what Line Mitch was. In race number 1, but I think
it could work.
I don't know if it's going to work, because I reckon Line Mitch at this point, he's going to have, at the end of this lap, or at the start of the next lap, he's only going to have 6 laps. So he could try and bolt another set of soft tyres on. But if Stancliffe can do what he did that last time out, low 25s, that is the pace that he's going to need if he wants to win this race ahead of Line Mitch.
Yeah, and I think, well, basically all the runners last race, all the runners that ran soft in the first stint, I think majority of them bolted on softs anyway, so it's a proven strategy, so might as well run with it.
And Turmo in the pit stop sequence has jumped ahead of Freakish, so important for Turmo there.
Stuff.
There's some clear running at the pit stop sequence.
Stancliffe, he's got the spanner out, so
he's all over the shop though.
Yeah.
Maybe adjusting some stuff on his HUD. But Stancliffe doesn't really want to get massively or lose too much time here in the pit stop sequence. Line Mitch, I'm just going to have a look for him at the moment. He's out in clear air at the moment, so important that he's able to set some decent sectors. A little bit further back, got Brapp and Hans battling it out. Hans has pitted. I don't think Brapp has. And Hans went right around the outside. I believe there's a song for that. And we've got Darren Kemp, looks like he's about to enter the pits. Oh, we've got Cecil.
Cecil's at a punch and run on the entry there. Again.
Let's have a look. Yeah, these guys are just going a lap too long.
Oh my god! Roadblock in the pit entry here at Winton.
Yeah, so he's doing what Higginson did. So driver's just
Oh
going a
my
lap too
God.
long. And who's the other guy? That is Coulston.
Oh, Coulston.
Yeah,
And Scott Sandcliffe and Enzo Snipes are just about to make contact on the pits as they're on the side by side.
Oh, absolute car park here at Winton.
that's about all the track's good for. Stancliffe has exited the pits, and I think he crossed the blend line.
Uh-oh.
Is it?
Like that.
Yeah, he has. That is going to be a post-race penalty. Drivers should know that. There's a blend line. It's there for a reason.
Yeah. It's a shame because he was looking to do that alternate strategy, try and make it work, but well, still got to keep his head down here just to gain as much positions as he can with the penalty into account as he passes Brapp there.
Yeah, so he's gonna. It'll be a post-race penalty. So he's got to get his arse into gear. Can still pick up solid points. But will be a time penalty. Line Mitch now.
Wow, so Hans Brunswick, he's closed right up to Line Mitch.
Yeah.
I think the gap was. I can't
A
remember.
good 4, 5, 6 seconds.
Yeah,
Yep.
pit stop sequence. He's gained quite a bit of time. And he's also made up time on this lap as well. He's 9 tenths faster in the first sector, 7 tenths faster in the middle sector as well. He must be on the soft tyre. He's having a dip, and I think Line Mitch may have put hard tyres on here, and he might come to rue that decision because Hans at 24.4, he's having a big dip.
We did see this at Phillip Island last week, where Hans come home and won the race on the very last lap towards the end over Tim Redmond, so we could see a repeat here.
Yeah, Hans, he's no slouch either. He has had some real world experience here at Winton, and he's a pretty fast driver. He made one of my setups for me for a so he's no slouch.
And it's important that if he is on the soft, it's important that he gets by Line Mitch early, and then try and just save that tyre, because his rear tyres and even his front left will be terrible at the back end of the race. The last couple of laps for him will be terrible, while Line Mitch will at least have some tyre to fight with. So the sooner Hans gets it done, he can then just take it a little bit easier coming out of corners and applying the lock through them. So the next 2 laps for him, the most important.
He's already closed about 9 tenths on this lap alone.
Just a little bit further back as well. Had Daniel Cox recover after his tangle to 10th place, but he's got Tim Redmond, who's also recovering after an opening lap blunder, right behind him. The Turbo dipping into the 23, so Turbo flying along out there.
Really burning it on.
You'd have been hoping for this in race 1, but travelling nicely. But he needs a bit of luck to get onto the podium. He's riding aboard Tim Redmond, right behind Daniel Cox, and there's a big group of cars in front of him, and they're all for position. They're headed by Freakish, but behind that, Lachlan Burke, and then he got Brapp and a recovering Snipes, who started at the back. A little bit of contact from Brapp and Snipes, but they're able to go side by side somehow. And around the outside goes Snipes. And, well, it's a very nice manoeuvre. And Daniel Cox now is joining the back of this pack, which of course means that Tim Redmond also at the back of this pack is a big lock-up for Freakish, but he's actually eked out a little bit of a gap over Lachlan Burke.
Tim had a bit of a look there, tried to stick his nose in, but Daniel Cox had none of it.
It's up and under. He's taken the wide entry, and he's going to get. He might go 2 for 1 here. He's going to try it. And
3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide around the outside. Daniel Cox, thank you very much.
Wow.
But Redmond's had the best run. Cox is going to try and hold on to it. And I think Cox has gone too deep. No, he's able to just hold on to it, but Redmond smart to it, able to get him on the switchback. So good racing. Battling for sheep station down here in the back end of the field, or of the top 10. But Snipes now looking to make a move up the inside.
Freakish. Oh, Freakish is gone.
Yeah, he's outbroke himself at the first chicane there. So in essence, NZ Snipes 2 for 1. He got by Lachlan Burke, so great recovery from Snipes. He started down the back of the field, now finds himself in P5. Unfortunately though, next car down the road is 12 seconds down the road.
Yeah. Lucky Burke having a brilliant race in P6. His first Super 2 round of the season. Newbie to sim racing in general. He's did a Bathurst 1000 with All Australian races with Dane Liccardo, so no rookie in
Redmond having a
racing.
dip. Maybe Redmond's got the better drive out of the corner. You know, look to set up a move here. Burke just sitting in the middle of the road, not making it easy for Redmond. He's going to try and set it up inside. Redmond has the better run, and well, Burke just running a little bit too wide there, and easy a light for Redmond. And he's going to try.
Still stagnant at the front. Hans Brunswick about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, looks
Line mixed. So
looks like that tyre advantage has just dropped off here, and now Lime Mitch has the better tyre, and Hans has just started. He's run out of tyre. Not Stancliffe. He's actually closed up. The gap's now within 3 seconds. But he of course is going to have a time penalty added on post race for crossing the blend line at the exit of the pits.
Yeah, Scott Stancliffe just pursuing the back of Hans Brunswick here.
Oh, and Lockie Burke's gone off too, so he's lost position.
Oh no! That was such a good race, Lachlan Burke. But
yeah, I'd say his rear tyres are gone there. It's a fairly innocuous spin. In fact, Higginson's actually jumped in front of him there. So the big battle now is going to be for second place. As Hans on the soft tyre, his tyres have just fallen off a cliff here, and he's going to be hanging on here on the final lap. You can see Stancliffe 24.5 from him on that last lap, and 26.1 for Brunswick, and a 24.9 for Lime Mitch. He's on the hard tyre. That's a fair lap. Either that or he was just saving his soft tyres. But Stancliffe going to have a big dip here. He's not one to hold back.
There is of course a question over Stancliffe's head as to the pit exit line. So, like I said before, he's just have to push as much as he can to make as much ground as possible to lessen the blow of that penalty that will be coming through at the end of the race.
A little bit of contact and Morse code there, but he'll want to get as far as he can anyway, just for a bit of bragging rights here as well. As it stands, if it's a 25-second penalty, he will end up behind Fisher and finish in 8th place, ahead of Nathan Higginson. And isn't able to quite get the runs. In fact, we've got yellow flags out here from the corner. He's given Hans a bit of a serve there as well. And Hans in the penultimate corner now, just going a bit defensive. Stancliffe going to try and go around the outside.
Probably not.
Surely not on these sides. No, he's not going to do it. But now it's all about the run out of the final corner. Hans, a bit sideways, but it doesn't matter. Lime Mitch, though, he will take race win number, I don't know how many this season. I think this is his second win.
It's his first for the... Oh no, he won earlier tonight.
Yeah, he has won at least one race, but he'll claim victory here. Second race from Winton. Championship rival Tim Redmond finishing down in 6th place. Hans did hold on to 2nd place in the end, and well, Lime Mitch just losing in front of him there. Stancliffe home in 3rd. Termo, a solid night from him. Could have had better results, had a little bit of bad luck, as he unfortunately always seems to have, but still solid P4 from him in this one. Snipes, fantastic recovery drive to come home in 5th place there. Redmond will recover to P6, but will have a potential penalty for the next round. We'll have to see. Daniel Cox there, home in 7th place. Uljit Mishra home in 8th. Warwick having a nice run here in race number 2, picking up a solid 9th. Brett home in 10th. Freakish had a really good run early on, but just fell late on in the race to finish in 11th. Kemp was running up there early on. It was looking good for both he and Matt White Motorsport there until he was knocked off the road by championship leader Tim Redmond. Justin Cecil home in 13th place. Lachlan Burke home in 14th, followed by Taipan in 15th. Another one involved in a bit of a bingle. And then Matt Cecil in 16th place, followed by Mike Coulston in 17th. Did see Coulston having a little bit of an adventure with no rear tyres as he tried to get into the pit lane. Pierre Roy, I believe, was another one that didn't have rear tyres as well. Rody home in 19th. Higginson somehow home in 20th. I don't know how that's happened because he was running in the top 10 there, guys. So perhaps he's had a late penalty or something handed down to him, or he's had to pit for tyres. But ending up home in 20th. Ryan Walsh 21st. Peter Thrower home in 22nd, with all cars finishing this one.
Must have been a penalty for Higo because his lap times doesn't look as if he's had a slow lap.
Yeah, just having a look at it now, I'd say that's a post-race penalty by the game. He's maybe picked up a drive-through that we didn't see, but yeah, didn't say anything. Because on the penultimate lap, he was started in 9th place, but then he's got blank on the final.
Very odd.
So, yeah, something's happened there. It's may actually go back on the replay and see what's happened. Obviously, we'll have to go back a few minutes, of course, but we wait for podium getters and race winners to jump into the box. Just try and find out what happened here. I wonder if he's had a puncture on the final lap here as well as the track code. Anyway, couldn't quite see what happened, but yeah, interesting end there for Higo. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out in chat at another time. But anyway, do have a number of drivers here in the box, and well, Rossi, why don't you start us off with the interviews this time around?
Shall do. We'll head to Line Mitch, seeing as he was our race 2 winner, but you picked up a 3rd place and a win tonight at Winton. Why don't you talk us through your nights so far at Winton?
Yeah, race 1. I was a little bit worried since I was pretty much the only one on the hard tyre. And yeah, I thought I'd made a mistake. I think it was probably not the right call in the end, but had I not had gone off track towards the end, I think I would have maybe got up towards Scott. But race 2 was a lot better. Good start. I think just managed to thread the needle and just managed the tyres from there. It was a bit of a unknown for me as I hadn't done any practice for double soft stints. So towards the end, it was definitely very sketchy.
And it looks, given of Tim Redmond's position in that final race for tonight, you've made up a little bit of a gap back to him in the championship. Is that something you're happy about going into the next couple of races after the Christmas break? That you're sort of carrying a little bit of a momentum on him now going forward?
Yeah, it's good. These probably first couple rounds, especially this round here, has probably been my worst tracks that I don't like personally. But hopefully the Enduros I'll be able to come back at Tim.
No, well, thanks for your time tonight, and yeah, best of luck heading into the future rounds after the Christmas break.
Thank you.
If we head to Tim Redmond, our race 1 winner at Winton, and then also I believe it was a 9th or an 8th place tonight in race 2. What about if you talk us through that opening lap incident in race 2 for us there, Tim?
Yeah, sure. The whole first lap was a very interesting challenge with a lot of biffing and bashing going on, door banging, bit of fun, and I just think I overcooked it coming into that last couple of corners and got into the back of Darren Kemp, and unfortunately I thought I had a little bit more space on that side, but misjudged it. So we both went around. So he went around, and I just waited for him and did the redress and just tried to carry on from there.
And you've lost, like we just mentioned to Lime there, you've lost a little bit of a championship advantage you had heading into this round. But going into the Christmas break, you're about 200 points up on Lime Mitch currently. Going forward, do you still want to continue racking up those race wins to cover yourself for potentially any DNFs down the track, or are you just looking probably from this point on, just getting good results, probably your thirds, fourths, and seconds place going forward?
Yeah, look, my overall goal for the season is to be consistently high. So I think this race one just gone has been my worst result so far of the series, but I want to be up there in the 1, 2, 3 mark for most of the season. So my goal is to just keep pushing and keep practicing the art, and we'll just see what the results bring.
No, well, thanks for your time tonight too, and congratulations so far on your current standings for this current season of Super 2.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'd like to hand over to Luke for this final interview with Hans to see how this will go.
My pleasure. Thanks, Rossi. Hans Brunswick. Pretty solid second round of the night for you. First race, again, pretty solid. Took us through the first race, mate.
Blow ups left, right, and centre, mate. That's what it was.
Copy that. Right.
That wasn't the answer you were expecting, was it?
Nah, it wasn't, mate. Well, anyway, race 2. For the most part, we're actually expecting a bit of a challenge for the lead there. You closed in quite rapidly to Lime Mitch after the pit stops. Talk us through that, mate.
Well, it was going great, and then I thought there was something wrong with Mitch's car, or he was saving. He said, I said, "Oh, Mitch, what are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm saving tires, fuel." I don't know what it was. He said he's saving something. So yeah, whatever. And obviously he was going a bit slower, so I'd catch up to him, and then he would just sort of jump away a little bit, and then come back, and then jump away a little bit. But the main thing was, like, my tires were absolutely shot by the end of it. My front left was gone. Like, it wouldn't even turn. If you saw when I was trying to defend from Stancliffe, like, the car would just plow on, and then all of a sudden it would turn the corner, and I would get a bump for my troubles. But, considering I was going ploughing for the second half of that race, I was going, there could have been snow all over Winton. I was ploughing that much. And, it's just, it was a pretty solid night, bit of a blow up, bit of a laugh. At some of the shenanigans in, the blow up was from some of the shenanigans in race 1. The laughter was in the shenanigans in race 2. So I guess it was a good night.
Laughs all around.
Laughs all around, and good to finish it on a high note in terms of being on the podium. And I guess it just shows that a no-hoper like me who does no practice, I guess I'm not too shabby. So that's nice.
Yeah, you're not too bad, mate, and definitely snow around Winton. Just might make it a bit more interesting than it is. But there's one more thing, mate. Did Thomas make it for Winton today?
Nah, he hates the place. He thinks it's a shit track.
Okay.
I reckon it's a great track, but he doesn't like it.
All right. Fair enough, Hans. Well, good job, mate. Solid solid weekend once again, and we'll hand the mic back over to Lewis Wedding.
All right, so I think that's all the interviews done and dusted. I'm just going to have a quick squeeze. I'm not quite sure of the team points. Yes, the team points have been done, but I'm not 100% sure how accurate they are at this point. But according to this screen, we do have Matt White currently leading the standings on 1,923 with ProDrive, second on 1827. Then we have Walkinshaw 1692 with Triple Eight dropping down to fourth place after a little bit of nightmare there in race number 2 for them. Then we have Gary Rogers home in 5th, Nissan Motorsport in 6th, Lucas Dumbrell in 7th on 11.85. Brad Jones, they've moved up. They're on 10.35 ahead of DJR Team Penske and Erebus, but Erebus no, I think that points is right, but I'm not 100% certain. But that's what I have on my screen. Anyway, driver standing wise, Tim Redmond on 1,389 points. He's just a hair over 200 points clear of Lime Mitch. Daniel Cox still in third place in the driver's standings with Termo not too far behind. Snipes will be ruining his, I guess he's the two non-finishes that he's had, I think, down to an incident at Adelaide and internet issues at Winton. As he's currently in 5th in the standings, 30 points behind Termo, but without that he'd probably find himself 3rd place in the standings, but still solid start for the season from Snipes. Burko, after the DNF and non-start at the second race there, he's now down to 6th place. Stancliffe up into 7th place now, with Taipan in 8th place on 813 points, with Mishra only 9 points adrift. Matt Cecil just hanging on to 10th place, 15 points ahead of Darren Kemp. And Peter Thrower on 708 points, having a bit of a nightmare there in the second race. I think he was also one of the drivers that ran out of tyres and couldn't quite get into the pits there. And of course, we did see with Peter Thrower in one of the Barbagallo rounds, I think it was race 2, picking up a number of drive-through penalties. So he's been in decent positions in all the races, but he's just had a little bit of bad luck after his good run out at Adelaide and Simmons Plain. So hopefully it picks up for him there. Hans Brunswick, he's sitting in 13th place in the standings on 684 points, not too far behind Peter Thrower. Then we have Steve Warwick on 600. He's got a bit of a gap to Brapp, about 63 odd points. Justin Cecil on 525. Rhodey on 501, followed by 435 for Jake McPherson. Although there are a number of drivers here that I would expect to have more points and be in the top 20, but I might be just getting a little bit confused here. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that for now. But just before we head out, I might as well bring up the schedule one more time. So as you can see there, the flight to Winton was cancelled. Somehow the teams made it in time by driving their transporters at warp speed to Winton, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be driving warp speed out of the place as well.
I would.
Unfortunately for them, they've got to go to Darwin, so they'll probably want to head out of warp speed to that place as well. But at least they get to go to Townsville after that one. So yeah, the next double round will be after Christmas, and teams will be heading north. We'll try and bring up the schedule on my own screen so I can bring up the dates for everybody. So these are after the next round of nights. So the double header round from Hidden Valley and Townsville will be on the 8th of January 2021. After that, it's still to be decided, but provisionally it's every 2 weeks. But it may be every week, from the 8th then to what would be, I think, the 15th. But at the moment, it's the 22nd. That's still got to be decided. We'll ask the drivers and see what they think. But we've got some interesting tracks coming up. Hidden Valley is going to be a tricky one, as is Townfield, guys.
Yeah, next round, it's probably 2 of my favourite tracks on the circuit to both drive and watch as a race. So I'd be definitely looking forward to that when it comes around.
Yep. Well, I mean, two different sorts of circuits. Darwin, a traditional circuit, as Townsville. I mean, you can't really call Townsville a street circuit, really. It's sort of a parkland sort of layout, similar to
Adelaide.
Albert Park or Adelaide. Yeah. So, but still, as always, I think it's going to provide some electrifying races.
Yeah, it should certainly do that. We did see some cracking racing and some unfortunate incidents from Townsville last time out. Matt Cecil will be hoping to repeat a race win down there. And hopefully Darwin will be a little bit cleaner than what we saw last year as well. So that's the next doubleheader. That'll be from the 8th of January 2021. After that, we have a doubleheader of Queensland Raceway in Sydney Motorsport Park. Again, that's going to be very, very tough on tyres, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how Queensland Raceway are hold. I haven't done too many laps there of the recent, but SMP, it's definitely one that eats into your tyres, and if you get on the wrong side of it, you're going to be falling off the track in no time.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's going to be a tough race at Queensland. I reckon maybe fairly processional there when we do go there. And the hard tyre probably going to be the ideal one there because I don't expect the left side tyres, particularly the rear left soft tyre, to last particularly long around there. Sydney, you do have some other corners to take a little bit of knock off all the tyres, but yeah, those rear tyres around there are going to get a bit of a workout coming out of a number of medium and low speed corners there. So that'll be another tough one.
There's a nickname I gave Sydney Motorsport Park back when we did it for ASC. It was Tyre Recycling Centre. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Sydney Motorsport Park.
The Tyre Recycling Centre. Okay, there we go. That's another name for it. Haven't heard that one before, but good to know. And then, of course, after that, we have some enduros at, of course, Sandown, which should always be an enduro. So supercars, you can go stuff yourself in real life. And then, of course, Bathurst, which will be, again, the dates for those are to be dated, but they will be single race nights. But anyway, from myself, Lewis Wedding, and of course from Brendan Ross and Luke Rosella, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast of the Automobilista Australia Summer Series, or Super 2 Summer Series. Of course, there will be a Christmas break because, of course, next Friday is the big day. So we do hope everyone has a safe holidays on the roads because we all know that somehow idiots forget how to drive at this time of year. And yeah, stay safe out there, and hopefully everyone has a merry and safe Christmas and holidays. Catch you on January 8th.
See you then.